Now, before I jump into this commentary, let's hear it for the marketing team behind Happy Gilmore 2, because they must have pulled off next-level wizardry to afford this many cameos. I mean, just look at this Nike logo on the back of a shirt. I've never seen it there. Great work, team. Truly generational thinking. And I'm sorry, but it seems like the thinking stopped there. But this movie could have been so much more than it was, because the original was special, but this one, it just wasn't. Alright, so if you were anywhere on the internet in the past few days, you've probably heard something about Happy Gilmore. However, this video is probably going to be the last that you hear from it, because this movie just did not do enough. And I mean, from the beginning, it just feels thrown together.
For a movie coming out 30 years after the initial, you'd think they'd take their time and set up a film that would work well in today's world. That Netflix would be able to handle making a really, really good film, and in collaboration with Adam Sandler, put something together in the way that we have seen them do. And coming while Netflix is more talked about right now than it has been all year, pretty much, with the release of Squid Game Season 3, the Amy Bradley documentary, and Happy Gilmore now, there was a lot of people on the platform ready to watch. But right off the bat, we see nothing's changed, with a very similar preamble to what they showed in the original film.
The narration is something that, yes, it makes sense, because the movie hasn't been talked about in 30 years. They need to get you into the setting, into the theme. And there are some cool choices being made here. Having Happy at some point knock off his wife after having 4 kids and a daughter that clearly is going to be special, and then he loses everything, including the house that he had just worked so hard to get back for his grandmother in the first film, putting him back in the underdog story, like a lot of Adam Sandler's movies, because, I don't know, lazy writing or something. I don't know. They couldn't come up with something else. They couldn't find a way to make him a hero from the start, whatever. So Happy's thrown on his ass, and we're quickly shown what our new point of this entire movie is: getting his daughter money to go and dance in Paris. However, as a viewer that really, really wanted something from this movie, I did not care one bit about this guy's daughter. And maybe I was too distracted by everything else going on, all of the cameos, and maybe even too distracted by my hopes, because they were very high, because the first one was that good.
Really? What is this I hear about you breaking
This
away
original
from
Happy
Ryan
Gilmore
into
was special. Not only were they playing golf, having a good time, but it was very, very goofy, and the story was exciting and interesting, kept you on your toes by showing the protagonist go through so many different trials and tribulations while playing the game of golf.
Hey, what is going on here, huh?
Oh, I was just looking for the other half of this bottle, and oh, there's some of it right there's some right there too.
Why don't you just put it down?
Yeah, I know.
In a way that is exciting normally, not on TV, right? It's cool to hit the ball far, and we were seeing that in a way that we've never seen before with this swing that, what is that? There was something special about this. The new Happy Gilmore doesn't have that. I've already said I didn't care about the daughter or the sons that were kind of just massive caricatures of his last character, but the John Daly cameos were special. Man, I don't know if he's a good actor, if he's just such a great character as the human being of John Daly, but it fit this story, it made sense to everything that was going on, and it was just hilarious to see. And it felt like it had the perfect blend of cheap humor, but also connection to the plot that makes for a good cameo. But then came the onslaught of literally every golfer I've ever seen. For the legitimately next 30 minutes of this movie, I feel like I was bombarded with every guy who's ever picked up a golf club and has a following anywhere or has done anything. It was way, way too much. All the advertisements I can get past, I've seen it before. The Nike swoosh on the back of Scotty's shirt was weird because I've never seen something there, but I can get past it. But what I can't really get past is seeing so many cameos of guys I don't need to see in a movie, because it's a movie. They're supposed to be actors getting you into a story, making you feel a certain vibe. They need to be used occasionally when the plot kind of calls for it and it adds something funny. It triggers something in our minds. Oh, I've seen that guy before. That's funny. Getting back to the story. But it felt this time like it was kind of just filling up space and increasing the runtime of the video. The original never felt like this. Sure, there was the occasional professional golfer or announcer or celebrity cameo, but it only was added in there when it felt like it was adding to the plot. It felt normal, the story flowed, and it made a lot of sense, and we were able to get back into the story of watching Happy play some golf, fight his way to beat Shooter McGavin, and win his girl back, and put on a show in a way we have seen these movies be successful with before, with Caddyshack, and then later after Happy Gilmore with Tin Cup. But somewhere between
Watching one of the worst dance sequences I've ever seen
and watching Adam Sandler fight through his drinking problems with Ben Stiller, which was kind of cool, a cool little callback to the original film, I actually got into the movie, and I was no longer distracted by everything going on in my head and everything flashing on in front of me on the screen in a way that got me excited for what was going on and invested and hopeful for how the movie was going to end. They crushed some incredible golf montages as he tried to improve his game and do this and do that and find his way through everything in a way that actually got me excited, actually started getting me into it and not thinking about the daughter that he needed to get to Paris for some reason. And some of the cameos were actually good, like Marcelo Hernandez. And I'm not surprised I like that one. He's on SNL all the time. He's an actor. He's a comedian. He is the character that Adam Sandler has filled his movies, his good movies, with for years, and can put on a certain show to push a plot further in a movie. That's what you need in something like this. And I think Marcelo was great as Bad Bunny's brother, friend, target for hitting golf balls at and taking hats off of cops. It was really good. It was stupid, but this movie is stupid, and all of these golf movies were silly and goofy and stupid, and this felt right. Raunchy and silly golf movies like Caddyshack, like Happy Gilmore, were cornerstones for a lot of generation and are remembered very well for whatever journey they go on while playing this game that a lot of men, and that's something my generation didn't really have. Yeah, we have all these guys on YouTube that I've told lots of stories about on this channel, but something more significant, more in traditional media is nice for lasting power, because traditional media just can do that in a way a YouTube video isn't really going to as much. And a good Happy Gilmore 2, in my eyes, could potentially open the door for more of that to happen. But again, as I said earlier, the movie just did not give us enough. The antagonists of the story, the villains, I guess you could say, it didn't really make much sense. This guy that he met and then was Happy threw him into a lobster tank at the store because he was kind of rude, but also wasn't that rude. It didn't really make sense. And also seeing maybe 50-year-old Adam Sandler, I don't know how old Adam Sandler is, but seeing an older Adam Sandler do it feels less genuine than some roided up kid figuring his life out. It just doesn't feel the same, and there was no investment in the way we felt the Shooter McGavin like evilness that he had throughout that first film. The dichotomy between those two gives you something to like root for in your protagonist and keeps you going. Kept this movie going, kept Caddyshack going with the lawyer guy who ran the club. This one didn't have it. And then because they chose it to be a guy who was leading a different type of competitor of golf, of the tour, it led them to playing very little amounts of golf at all, like literally at all, when that was a decent portion of the other movies that have done well in the golf world like this before. And then quite possibly the worst thing happened throughout this entire movie. The ending competition, whatever that was.
Oh no, not again.
Whatever that new golf game that the villain arc was trying to create felt like something created by a kid if you asked them to supersize mini golf. It didn't make sense, and again was not playing golf anymore. We had lost the piece that had kept these movies for years as like cornerstones of golfing lore, right? Remembered for years because Happy Gilmore had that weird swing and then he beat Shooter McGavin. That was cool. Caddyshack. This guy is going on a journey, just having a fun time fighting this Italian kid. It was good, and they played golf as they went. But in this one, golf was an afterthought, and it felt like the producers or the director or whoever the hell was in charge was allergic to golf. But more importantly than the entire rest of this video, please don't ever let Brooks Koepka act And then from there, it just feels like this story is the culmination of whatever is going on in Happy Gilmore's life. And it's very clearly that's what this movie was supposed to be, why the intro was that way. We were supposed to get invested in this character that we were familiar with, and I guess we're supposed to hold on to that memory for 30 years and then immediately connect right back with him. But that's not how I felt, and I wanted to see more golf. I wanted to see this guy go on a journey and create a story around golf that could last for years, that could open the door for more things like that to happen, but it just wasn't that. And then add on top of that all of the cameos with probably more professional golfers than there genuinely were actors and comedians in the movie. It just creates a lot of chaos, a lot of things going on that maybe we're trying to compensate for less time taken in the writing. And it sucks because I think a lot of the cameos were really cool. Like I said, I think Scotty was very, very solid. The callbacks with Will Zalatoris to his old caddy was cool. And Charlie Hull was awesome. That came out of nowhere, and that's the kind of cameo that you expect. That's what a cameo is supposed to be. Not 25 minutes of it in the beginning when Xander Schauffele says the same thing 3 times in a row. That's not what I need to see. John Daly was really, really funny, and it fit kind of the plot line. But it is what it is. If you guys do want to see a little director's cut of this video, then head on over to my Patreon. It should be linked somewhere over here. It's also in the description, and you can, support the channel that way. These videos are hard to monetize often. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.